who are angry. That's how may one influence, isn't it? Our circle of people who are angry, ignorant, and self-obsessed. And into, I can't really see. Into what I can't really read. Can you read this into what the path?
Into reaching?
Reaching?
Is
No.
it reaching?
No. I can't read.
I think into what the path?
Into what the path?
So maybe just say
Obsess. Yeah, maybe it's not, into obsess and following the path. Something like that. Okay. Yeah, sometimes that's like one of our problem, you know. If you be able to influence yourself and change yourself, it's good enough. We want to change all the people around us, it's difficult. I remember there's the other day, Friday night talks, someone asked me how to change a husband because a husband like to play games. Then that's why I used to tell people that, that when you enter into a relationship, never ever think that you're going to change the person and shape the person and change the people around you to the perfect person, to the way you want it. You will suffer. It's because actually it has to come from that person willing to change and not. It's not up to us. I remember I had one incident. There was a young girl. She was a teenager in her 18s. And she was having drugs problem. And the father brought her, and I do a few sessions with her. I remember the first time I met her, I looked at her, and I told her that, I said, I would love to help you. Even your family, we all would love to help you. But are you willing to help yourself? I said, if the person not willing, no matter how hard we try, it's difficult. We can't change others. It's easier that we just accept the person as the person is. And again, when we said we accept the person as the person is, doesn't mean that we agree with whatever the person said. We disagree with the action, but we still love the person as the person is. We all have a shortcoming. No one is perfect. So it's very easy to see other people's defilements, other people's mistakes, and we can't see ourselves because we are so close to ourselves, we can't see. Sometimes I see people complaining to me about the other person. Actually, they themselves doing the same thing. You can see other people doing it, you don't see yourself doing it, It's so easy to see. That's why sometimes when people come to me, they tell, I have this, I can see I have this defilement, and then, and I always say, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. I said, you're wise to the extent. Like the Buddha said, if a fool know that he's a fool, he's wise to the extent. If a fool think that he's wise, he's indeed a fool. I said, at least, you see your defilements. I said, actually, people don't understand. You need to develop wisdom to see your own defilements. You have to have wisdom. If not, you can't see because it's so close, And a lot of people don't think that I have it, They think that other people have it. I don't have it. I'm perfect, I'm perfectly fine, That's why sometimes to enter to see yourself actually is much more difficult. It's easy to see others people's mistake, but to see one's mistake is very difficult because we keep identifying ourselves with all the experience as me and mine. It's too close. We can't see. That's why we need to develop our mind, have more space, be able to really set back, because immediately we react. We already identify ourselves with whatever, experience, whatever the situation that we're in, is me and mine already, and very difficult to come out. So that's why, and to try to influence others. I mean, you can try and see whether it's work, but I can tell you, sometimes also have to give up on people. That it's not that we don't care, and sometimes you can do your best, you can try to help, but not to get affected if the person, yes. For example, people come to me with come for counseling and things like that. So because to me, I understand my limitation. I understand my where my strength, what I can do, what I can't do. I can see my limitation. Then I will not create lots of suffering for myself, because I know that I can't fix everybody's problem. But I can always care, isn't it? You can always give the person support, moral support, give them support, and then care for the person. You can always care, but you may not be able to solve the person's problem. But most people come to me, sometimes they just want to release, they just want to dump some rubbish onto me. That's all only. So I just listen. Oh, you need to do it. Sometimes I feel better because you need to process. Some of your emotion, you cannot suppress it. If you suppress it, it's very, to a point that, you cannot hold anymore, to the point that your willpower can't hold anymore. It's just like volcano, it's explode. You see, sometimes people just know only, I just share with someone, like someone killed another person because of the hairstyle, they don't like the hairdresser. That she's so upset with the hairstyle, and then she went back to the hairdresser and argued with the hairdresser, and then somehow accidentally he killed the hairdresser. You think really because of the hairstyle? I tell you not. Sometimes it's been building up. Building up. It's been cooking there. The hairdresser is just the trigger. It's just the one who lit the bomb, Actually, it's nothing to do with. Sometimes people try to figure out, they think that maybe it's this incident because of this, because of that. Actually, it's not. Those is just a trigger, isn't it? We all have the experience, isn't it? When you're in a good mood, so everything will do. Everything is okay, isn't it? So when you're not in a good mood, someone said anything, you can't say anything. Whoever right in front of you, you will snap. It's not that, isn't it? Actually, it's not really. Actually, it's come from your own, your those unresolved emotions been building up, and to a point that you cannot hold anymore. So the moment when you overcome by that emotion, that moment you're just insane. You just don't even know what you are doing. There's very few people that really have the intention to harm others. It's very few. So that's why sometimes ultimately, the person each one of us have to have the willingness to change, to put in the effort. I mean, others people can give you support and help. Like for me, I don't train the nuns at Dhammasara. They have to train themselves. But I'm only there to give them support, to give them encouragement. Like sometimes at Uposatha talks, I just have to remind them. Sometimes give them motivation. They need motivation because it's a lifetime practice. Every day, you keep going. So sometimes you need someone to push you a little bit, you motivate and telling you that, wow, very good, well done, keep going, You have to motivate them to keep going. But I can't solve that problem. I can't practice for them. I can't train for. They have to train themselves. Ultimately, have to come from that person, And this girl and it's just that she was so receptive, and I just tell her, and then look at her. I really look into her eyes and telling her that. I said, "Are you willing to change? Are you willing to do that?" And I think that she got it. Sometimes, when it's just click her mind, it's just she was receptive. And she only did a few sessions with me. And just recently, I met her father. Her father said, oh, now she's so good. She's not helping others people with having drugs problem. She's now so good. She already came out of it, and she's really doing so well. And he said that, I said, I haven't done much. I said, sometimes it's just like the right timing. It's just like we used to say, when the students ready, the teacher appear. Sometimes you're ready to listen, you're receptive. If sometimes you're not ready and you're not receptive, you just block off. You know, we want to hear what we want to hear. We want to see what we want to see. And sometimes people will just want to bend and interpret their own way, you know, their own interpretation, what suit them, you know. So that's why we used to say when things suit them, you know, they said that is self. When things doesn't suit them, there's no self. We've been selective, you know. Then this is how the mind is so tricky. So that's why, yeah, but we can't change others, but we can always have kindness and compassion towards others, and we can always care for them. But it's just difficult. Even our own parents and children, we can't. We just accept the way, you know, they are, you know. So we just love them as the person is, you know. So that's why I said before you enter into a relationship, you ask yourself, you know, can I really love this person as the person is, including not only, you know, even not only the good qualities, you know, even the shortcoming, you know, as the person is. If you can't do that, so you have to think twice and not to think that you can change the person, you can shape the person. So I hope this answered the questions. Dear member, how does one repay for past wrong deeds? How can we repay? I can't. For past wrong deeds, thoughts and action. Repent. Okay. And how does one compensate for such wrongdoings? Okay. So once you have done, it's done. You cannot undo. So that's what you need to do is that what we have done, you know, what we have do, we have kindness and compassion towards ourselves. We forgive ourselves, you know. And yeah, we all have done stupid things in the past. It's already past, you know. It's just like now is important. How are you going to live your life is important. What you're going to do is important right now. It's just like I like the simile that the Buddha gave. That is he talked about the karma. A lot of people think karma is something that is destined, like, you know, that's fixed, you know, or I have done this, or this is, you know. No, when the Buddha talked about karma, it's all about present, you know. It's what we have done in the past, you know, we cannot undo, you know, cannot undone. So it's just like what we have done in the past. It's just like someone so-called now have good karma. So it's just like you inherited a piece of the land that is good land, fertile land, because the soil is good and rich and it's good to, you know, you can plant anything. And someone have bad karma, so it's just like your inheritance. You inherited a piece of land that is not fertile. But if someone have good karma in this life, if you don't fully make use of it, what's the point having this good karma, isn't it? So what we are now is what we have been. What we will be is what we are now. So that's why it's important now how you change your life, you know. And if you want to, yes, maybe this life, you know, is difficult life for you. You have to control lots of difficulties. But if you're willing, you know, it's just like you inherited a piece of land that is not fertile. You're willing to put in fertilizer. You're willing to put a nice seed and you nurture it and you water and you grow into a nice big mango tree, you know. I have a juicy mangoes, you know, and that is important. How you going to do with you deal with your life right now is important. How you live your life. It's look at Angulimala. He's a killer. He still get enlightened, you know. So now is important. So how you going to deal with your life now is important. So like the common things people used to ask, people want to know how, ask me to teach them to do meditation, that when the last moment, what kind of meditation when we face that, you know? like something that you pull out last minute. I said that no such thing. I said if you be able to able to practice present moment awareness, bring your mind back to this present. I said, if you be able to do that, make peace with every single moment you are in, you are ready to die. You can die any moment. Isn't it? That is important. This moment is important. So bring your mind back to this, bringing your mind back to this moment and make peace. Learn to make peace with every situation and every moment that we are in. If you be able to do that, you train yourself, and just develop the habit of not following the thinking mind and wander off into Siberia without knowing how you get there, I remember someone said to me just recently, said, my mother is so mindless. She drove, every day she drive to work, and she told me that she don't know how she get there. She's just mindless all the time. She's just not mindful. She just drive, and she's been thinking. She just like automatic pilot. She drive, and luckily she have no accidents, And then she said that she don't know how she get there. Because we are not present, our mind, we are not with what we are doing, when we are eating, and then our mind in Siberia, That's why it's like, if you be able to be with what we are doing right now, present, and then, so actually when you be able to be live in present moment awareness, actually it's help you to develop your mindfulness, and also it helps you to have a good memory. You remember. Part of mindfulness is also you remember. Sometimes when we are not mindful, we can't remember where we put our things, isn't it? When we are mindful, actually we can recall. Okay, yes, I have done this. Okay, I remember I put my things there, isn't it? But if you are mindless that time completely, your mind somewhere else, you don't remember, So that's like, so it's important that now, it's just like you just let the, those action, other things that we have done, we leave it. So we don't nurture those bad seed. So we nurture the good seed. We let it grow faster than that. So if you can get enlightened before, all the good seed ripen before all the seed. Those bad seed, sometimes some of those karma may not may not be ripened, because if you starve it, it will not grow. Actually, it's important now. It's no point worrying about things that already we have done. So that's why it's important that just to forgive oneself, not to carry the guilt, thinking that we are bad, we are terrible. So it's not to identify ourselves that we are terrible, we are bad. It's just that, because of we are overcome by defilements. If we have no defilements, we are not here. So that's why some people like to say to me that, I still have anger. I look at the person. I said, of course you still have anger. If you have no anger, you're already anagami, you're already arahant. I said, what do you expect? So we don't take it personally, thinking that I'm terrible, I'm bad, It just that, just whatever comes out, this is how you feel, Just to be honest about that, that how I feel. And there's another one. When I'm observing breath, the outflow of thoughts comes out like a fountain. Should I just let it be? Will it eventually settle in if I just not engage with it? Yes, if you just let it be, you don't engage, actually it will subside by itself. Because a lot of time we tend to interfere, we tend to push it away, we tend to do this and do that, and try to make it go away. The harder you try, the worse you try to make it go away, it won't go away. If you leave it alone, it will go away by itself. It's just like someone come to visit you, and they keep knocking on your door. If you ignore the person, eventually the person will go away, isn't it? You just keep staying. Just stay with your breath, continue, and just to just ignore, ignore the person, and the person will go away immediately. If you don't entertain them, it won't come again, isn't it? But the problem is we go and entertain them, and then it started off, it go on and on. Sometimes people like that, that give them some, you feel like, because we want to be exist, and I have met people getting generate, and they generate energy through anger. they feel alive. If they're not angry, they feel so bored, they feel so down. So when they get upset, they get angry, they feel alive. Because it's into a habit. If you used to get generate your energy from getting angry, and then you very easily you get angry. But this kind of energy actually is just like borrowing money, and you have to pay interest. It give you and it's not very pleasant. But because of the craving, we craving to be, we want to be exist. So that's why sometimes sometimes not because we feed on that excitement. The craving itself is excitement. Craving to be, craving not to be is excitement, that desire, that then keep the mind going. So then when it stops, we are not used to it. So then you say sometimes even negative negative feelings also, all these negative emotions also better than nothing. We still hold on to it, And this is how the Buddha said how we develop our habit. It's like a default setting. And then once it becomes habit, it's very difficult to change. And sometimes we don't even know that we're doing it, like subconsciously, Any more questions or comments? There's only 3. The other day at Tamaloka, initially no one asked questions. Then after that, I started with one person, and then we ended up 9:45. And then all the questions started to come. Is there any more questions or comments?
Venerable, just want to check, when we are sitting down, the body pain start to come, especially the leg, and then it does affect our breathing. We tend to breathe harder and all that. So how should we deal with it? Because if I switch to the pain get even worse. To what extent should I be with the pain, and to what extent should I let go? Because, to let go immediately, that is also avoiding a problem. So how can I justify that? Yeah.
Okay. Because when your bodily pain affects you and you cannot focus on your breath, because your mindfulness is not strong enough. Because the breath is a more subtle object. There's you have to go back to the causal object to build up your strength, to build up your momentum. So they say sometimes the bodily pain depends. Some people is just come from, some people have injuries, that you don't push. Sometimes if you push it, and then sometimes you damage your knee or whatever, whichever part, Sometimes you can just very mindfully, it's just the continuous awareness of mindfulness, you just very gently place awareness into your bodily action. You just movement, you just stand up, you just do some walking meditation. So, but if some of those pains is just like more mental part, because sometimes when you have the pain, if you feel you don't, sometimes we don't know that we are doing it. So we have that resentment, rejection, we don't want the pain. So the more that we try to push the pain away and try to focus on the breath, and the pain become worse. I remember it's happened to me. It was a first retreat that I did many years ago. And there was a very intensive retreat that you get up early in the morning, 3:30 you get up, and then you start practicing at 4 a.m., walking, sitting. No chair for you to sit, you just sit on the floor. And I remember the 3rd day, I was so tired. Because you're doing until 9, from morning 4 o'clock, and only in between, we have breakfast 6:30, Then after that, we have 11 o'clock, we have lunch, and then we have only 1 hour break, 1 hour break that we have shower and things like that. And then from 1 o'clock, you have to practice again. And it's all, no chair. it's just all on the floor, quite very intensive. Imagine you keep sitting, walking, you know, for the third day. I was so painful, like I can't sleep. The moment I sit on the floor, the moment I was in pain, then you know, actually I already have that resentment. The moment I get five cushions, I put two here, you know, I put one here, and three here. So sit there, still painful, because, and to a point that, okay, I can't sit, then I walk, and I try to walk. My leg was so heavy. It's like a ton, you know, I can't even lift my leg. And then I can't open my eyes, I slot and topper. And to a point that, as I was telling, I was really burst into tears. I was thinking, what am I going to do now? And I can't go back to lie down and sleep, you know. The police will come and catch you, you know, can't go and sleep. And then no chair to sit. And then, what can I do? I cannot walk and I cannot sit, you know. Then I was thinking, but I can't go back because I big mouth telling everybody that I'm doing a retreat, you know. If they know that I'm halfway pulled out, then it's so embarrassing, you know. So everybody knows that I halfway I pull out, you know. So then that moment I was really in tears, you know. So painful. It's really painful. My whole body is so painful, and my eyes can't even open, you know. And then the moments that I feel like, what am I going to do now? That's okay, never mind. I just let the pain, let me die of the pain. I said, okay, I go back there. I threw all the cushions away. I just sit on the floor like that. It's a marble floor. Actually, the moment I sit down, all the pain gone. Truly, the pain, because letting go, because the more you want the pain, you feel more pain. You know, it's so painful. Actually, it was so peaceful, and I sit down, no pain, and the mind is so peaceful and really very still. The mind goes so peaceful and calm, and then I realized that actually some of the pain is come from mental, you know, and some people truly have physical pain because of some injuries. So if you have injuries or whatever, please don't try to push. And also sometimes it's good that you, even though we don't encourage you to push, to use willpower to try to overcome the pain, but sometimes don't just immediately change your posture or just stand up. Then you will never go deep because you get into the habit. A little bit pain, you have to get up. Sometimes you try to sit a little bit more, you know. It's just like, you know, not to push too hard, you know, but a little bit, you know. It's just like how you build up your muscles, you know, when you go for weight lifting, you know. Of course, you don't start with 200 kg, isn't it? You start with 10 kg, 20 kg, then slowly you increase the same thing, you know. So yeah, just not to push too hard, you know. And of course, sometimes the pain is also come from too tight. Sometimes it's too tight. Some people, you know, try to control the body, try to sit, they try to have a perfect posture. No, it's never mind. Even you sit like that, also never mind. Just let go of your body, let it be, you know. Because sometimes you try to control your body so much and then you tense up. When it tense up, it's very painful. Sometimes the pain is come from the tension. It's too much tension. You're too tight. Sometimes you need to relax. That's why I used to encourage people to do the relaxation. You know, just relax the body before they sit. So when your body relax, actually, your mind calm, because actually the body affects the mind as well. When your body relax, feel at ease and at peace, your mind become peaceful and calm, isn't it? You feel more soothing and easier to sit, you know, easier to focus on your breath. But that's why you have to just relax your body first and not to try to control. And sometimes those pain come from tension, a lot of tension. I have someone that this lady that I met, that how she come to Buddhism, because she come to Buddhism because she used to have lots of pain in her body, bodily pain, whole body, lots of pain. And she went for all this checkup and go through all the checkup. They find nothing why she has this pain. So And then eventually they refer her to a psychiatrist. So then she went to this psychiatrist, and this psychiatrist also one of our supporters, and taught her how to meditate, how to relax, and this is how her pain go away. She can't find, because sometimes it's a mental affect the body, because you tense up, a lot of tension. That's why your body is painful. Sometimes try to relax your body, that makes your body it's tense up, very painful, And sometimes it's because of some people have injuries, they have injured in the past. So then, of course, you cannot push. If it's too painful, you have to get up and just walk. You just change your meditation object from the breath to the movement of the body. It still continuous, And yeah, this is it answer your questions? Does it make sense to you? Yeah. Any more questions or comments? Any more questions or comments? Yes.
Yeah, just now when we have an interview, you explain that as you meditate more and more, you dig deeper and deeper.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the things that would all come out?
So because because throughout our life, so, and especially in the past, we don't know how much we have accumulated. So because sometimes when lots of those unresolved emotions, like when sometimes, for example, we have some emotions that we are not happy. Actually, it's not resolved, but we need to get on with life. So we sometimes have to push it down. So it depends on how much you have push it down. It's just like, like the rubbish, bin, you put the rubbish in. Like us, like we have only one big rubbish bin. So sometimes, what we do, we put it and they fill up so quickly, some of the nuns can stand there and step, and it's compressed, And depends on how much you have accumulated. It's just a layer and layer. Sometimes you take up the top layer, and then sometimes you feel peaceful for a little while, and happy, peaceful a little while, and then you hit a second layer. And it comes out again, The more, the deeper, the more, the bottom one is the most subtle one, because they've been there for a long time, maybe previous life. You have to keep, things just unfold, and then your mind become peaceful and calm, and some of these unresolved emotions comes out. Actually, it's good to let it out, because if you keep push it down to a point that if you cannot hold anymore, because we use willpower to hold it, but how far you can go with willpower? So you just have to let it out skillfully, Yes. So depends on individual. Some people might not have that many layers, or that they're not compressed. Then, it depends, So we cannot compare, individual. It's just like, that's why however much agitation and irritation you have, then however much work needs to be done. That's like, I have to just keep working with, working on that, Yes, any more questions or comments? More questions or comments? Okay.
How do we know, are we really tired, or it's just sloth and torpor?
Mm-hmm. Sometimes, yeah. That's why when people come to me that they said they're tired, then I said that must be, sometimes it's mental, sometimes it's physical, sometimes it's both. Mental plus physical. So sometimes the tiredness might come from your, that's why like for example, if one of our Nagarikas come to me that she says she really tired all the time, so the first thing I ask her to go for a blood test, see whether she's lack of iron. And actually then she come back to me, truly she lack of iron. And sometimes it's because of physical. So you have to check whether it's a physical or sometimes because of the digestion. Sometimes people don't have a good digestion and they use up lots of energy to try to digest their food. They said what the food that you eat is also, some people can't digest certain food, so you have to change your diet. So you have to check whether it's a physical. You have a problem with a physical, it's because of the diet, because of a digestion. Some people can't digest certain food, like some people can't eat meat, they can't digest. Then they feel tired because of the stomach use up lots of energy. So that they feel really tired, use up lots of energy. And no matter how much you rest, you still feel tired. That is a physical. And some is the mental part. And like people thinking too much also, they're worrying so much, that also affect the mind because you feel really tired. The kind of tiredness is not the physical tiredness, it's just no matter how much you rest, you still feel tired. Another one is as people like not, they don't want to face some of the emotion, the things that pops up, they want to run away from facing, the unresolved emotion. They tend to put themselves to sleep. They will sleep for hours and hours and they keep telling themselves that they are tired, they sleep, and this is the mental part. But sometimes can be both physical and mental. Sometimes yes, maybe physically you have a bit of tiredness, but sometimes your mind, you keep telling yourself, maybe this, maybe that, or you say I do this make me tired, then actually you add on, and so that's why it sometimes become both. That's why you have to check. So normally the first thing, especially when they come to monastery, because change of diet, we don't eat after midday, and also some of them, that especially some people, they're brought up with getting iron from meat, and if they don't eat some people get iron from the red meat, if they're not eating it, sometimes that the iron become really low and they feel really tired. So normally, the first thing I ask the person, I say, go for a blood test, and then they comes back, they say, yes, it's because of the iron. So you have to check whether it's a physical or mental. But there can be physical, there can be just mental, there can be both. So you just say, check. These are the possibilities. It's amazing how people can put themselves to sleep, because I know this lady, she was when I was at Hasapanna Chat, and because there was a kuti that I previously stayed, and I moved out to another kuti, and this kuti is just next to the wall, those wall that they put all those ashes and the bones, the ashes, and in Thailand, they are not like Chinese. We are quite particular. We use a very nice urn to put all those ashes. But in Thailand, they use a Nescafe jar. And then this lady, and because we have this person pass away. This is a man, and they have a ceremony like you wash your hand, you wash your hand, then the deceased hand will put like that, and then we will pour the water under the person, the deceased person, the deceased hand. So then she really saw this person, and then after that, the next day cremation. I don't know now they're allowed or not, because that time almost like 20 years ago, they still have cremation. So we help to go and take all the stakes, all the, to help with to set the fire. And then after that, they burn for almost like this morning till next day, more than a day, because they just set the fire in open air. Then after that, the family come and pick the ashes and things like that. And then she saw why these people going to the war, and then she a bit busybody, she gonna have a look. Then she realized they're putting the ashes there. And then since that night, she really so scared. This man's because he saw this person's face and keep popping out in her mind. Then she was so much fear that she couldn't sleep. And then how the mind is so tricky that she decided to put herself to sleep. She will start to sleep before dark, 6 something she'll go to sleep, and she get up tomorrow 7. She sleep for 12 hours. I said, at least you can sleep, I told her. because she don't want to face it. So it's one of the way to run away from facing things, like that is so fearful, and she don't want to deal with it. This is how sometimes the mind that it's very tricky. We don't know that we are doing it. Sometimes it's certain things that we don't want to face, and then we do all sorts of things to run away, not to look at it, not to face it. But doesn't mean that we don't look at it, we don't face it. It's not going to go away. It's still there. But the worst thing is, if we keep doing that, actually we reinforce that, and we make it more difficult in the future when we want to deal with it, and become more and more ingrained. And that's why sometimes there's people put themselves, they would keep the mind is like you that she brainwash herself, like hypnotize herself that I need to sleep, I'm tired, and it's as a way to run away from things, and as a way not to deal with the situation or those emotions that is so unpleasant that she doesn't want to deal with it. That's why it's another way. So I'm thinking too much also. You also become tired because you use up lots of mental energy. So any more questions or comments? No more? Okay. No more?
Going once.
Yeah, going. Okay. Done. Okay.
Oh, one more. Just in time.
Okay. Just now you mentioned about running away from relationship, right? Or just now we just finished it. Okay. What is wrong with running away or to handle it? Because sometimes some things is run away and then just let go. Isn't it also okay?
Is for example, sometimes like the Buddha did mention about like avoid. Like for example, like in some situation, for example, you are so angry, you're about to kill that person, then you really have to stop yourself. Even the Buddha said you need to clench your teeth and use willpower. Stop yourself. You have to stop that because you're about to kill a person, or you have to avoid. But that is just a temporary measure. It's just like you're bleeding, you need to stop the bleeding, but you need to treat the wound. So eventually you have to look at it and deal with it, rather than running away from facing some of the emotions, some of the things that we want to face it. And because it's not resolved, it's still there, But yes, the Buddha did, one of the suttas he said that you change, you look at, you put your attention on other things, and then there's 8 steps, but that is like only when you are almost, on the kill. That is the best actually to deal with it, actually to stay with that, to stay, to face it, to stay it. Because it's unpleasant. We don't like it. That's why we run away. So to stay. But sometimes it's too painful for most people be able to stay. That's why you have to use a bit of other skillful means. But those is only for a temporary measure, like, you know, like you're bleeding. You need, first of all, you need to stop the bleeding first, isn't it? Then, but you ultimately, you still have to treat your wound. You cannot just put on dressing, that's all, you know. It will not heal. So if you truly want to heal, actually you have to go back to the cause, to get to the root. Yeah, some situation avoid. Yes, you sometimes at that moment you need to avoid. You know that you're above to say something. You know that you cannot control yourself. So best to go away, to avoid that, you know. But sometimes situation you can face it, you know. Yeah.
Venerable, sometimes, certain emotion like anxiety, panic attack, for no reason, it just come about. And it make it very restless, the mind. It could be overthinking that causes the panic or the anxiety. So in this case, what should I do if I can't sit? Can I do walking to let go of the excess energy before I sit down? Because I felt that it does help, but I'm not sure whether is that the best way.
There's one of the very good breathing exercise. Actually, I know someone skip. I have the feedback from many people that they say it really works. That when you have the anxieties, you do the breathing exercise. You just breathing in anxieties, breathing out peace. Make peace with that. You know, so you're breathing in anxiety, breathing out peace. So it's just like you stop the mind into thinking. You know, and also put the imprint into your mind that make peace with that. It's okay to have anxieties. It's not that it's bad because it's unpleasant. Because this is how we tend to identify our experience as good or bad. When it is pleasant, we said good. We identify as good. So when unpleasant, bad. What's wrong with having anxiety? It's no problem, isn't it? It's not a problem. But if you think that it's a problem, you make it a problem. It'll become a problem, you know. You know, if you look at it, it's just anxiety. It comes and go. Or you can put your awareness on your body when you have anxieties. How do you feel? Some people feel that they have the stomach tight. Some people feel that the chest is tight. So you focus on the tightness of your body. And that is also your meditation object. You just focus. You're just aware. Or sometimes you can take a deep breath. You know, 3 deep breaths. You know, you have this. Breathing in anxieties, breathing out peace. So, any more questions, comments?
Venerable, I have a question to ask. Recently, I met a car accident. So, after which, I always have this dream that when I sit inside my husband's car, I always very scared, especially when he turned the corner.
Yeah, it takes a bit of time because of anyone's go through the trauma, they will have this fear. So next time whenever this fear come in, so you do the breathing in exercise. So you sit there, you just, because very easily we will suck into thinking. So it's good that you focus on, if there's fear comes out, you just focus on breathing in fear, breathing out peace. Breathe in fear, breathe out peace. So that you stop the mind from, because sometimes you tend to think about that, and when you start thinking about that, actually you reinforce that again. And it is normal that it takes a bit of time. So not to worry so much about that, because I know some people, it's just normal when you go through accidents like that and the trauma, and it takes a bit of time to heal. It's just like a wound, it takes time to heal. Like some people, they're very impatient, you know. Every 5 minutes they will open up. Why my wound not healed yet, you know. Maybe not enough antiseptic or maybe not enough cream, and they keep, you know. And sometimes you just give a little bit of time, you know. All you need is just the time to heal. Yeah, okay. So, okay, no more questions or comments? Okay,
Last question.
last questions? Okay, last question.
So you mentioned that if you experience some tension, you focus your meditation object to that tension.
Yeah,
So-
you just focus of that kind. When you
That
have tension,
tightness.
you feel the tightness there.
Tightness, yeah.
So your object is just a tightness. You just know
Tightness.
that there is tightness there.
Tightness.
Yeah.
So I don't understand how do you focus.
So
the
you pay
object.
attention on the tightness, and the tightness will go to the maximum point. It will subside by itself. Everything arises is bound to subside. It will not keep going. You know, it's to a max. It has to come down when it's go to a maximum point. So you feel how the tightness is, or how tight it is. So it will come up to the. You feel, you know, you can feel the tightness, and when the tightness comes to the max, and it's bound to subside. It cannot continuously go up and up. It's go to the max, it comes out. Then you can see, you started to build up your faith, your confidence that whatever that you experience, it won't stay. So at the end of the day, doesn't matter. Even pleasant feeling won't stay, isn't it? So then this is how you started to develop your wisdom, you develop your insight, you understand that. Then you're no longer afraid, no longer have fear when you have these feelings comes out. Because you know that it's not going to stay forever. Because the reason why we have fear, we don't like it, because we think that it's going to stay forever. You think that this belongs to us. We're going to feel like that for the rest of our life. No. Then the more we try to do something about it, the more we try to get rid of it, actually we reinforce that. We make it stay longer. We intensify that emotion, that feelings. But if we just let it be, you know, just stay with that feelings, it will subside by itself.
Observe the feeling.
Yeah.
Observe it.
Yeah, just observe how it feels like. Just observe, just knowing that, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah. That kind of like non-reactive awareness, aware of the tightness of the body, how it feels like, the feelings of the tightness.
No more questions?
Okay, it's finished.
Okay, so later on at 7:30, we have a Dhamma talk by Venerable. Do you understand yourself? So yeah, if you want to understand more of yourself, do come back. Maybe you can go for dinner or take a walk or exercise outside, breathe some fresh air, and then come back at 7:30. So thank you, Venerable. We will see you at 7:30. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let's pay respects.